The 2026 MotoGP rider transfer market is heating up, and not just heating up, but exploding like a time bomb. Sources from the paddock revealed surprising dynamics that are reshuffling the power map of the top teams. Fabio Quartararo is threatening Yamaha. Meanwhile, Francesco Bagnaia is being eyed by Yamaha, and Jorge Martín is ready to return home to Ducati. These are not just cheap rumors, they are real dramas with the potential to shake the MotoGP hierarchy. Why is the 2026 MotoGP rider transfer market heating up like a time bomb? Let's discuss it. Fabio Quartararo, predicted to be Yamaha's savior, is losing patience. Although the 2021 world champion scored 3 consecutive pole positions in Jerez, Le Mans, and Silverstone, his race results are still far from satisfactory. The peak occurred at Silverstone. Quartararo led the race brilliantly and managed to tame the fierce Ducati on the fast track. However, he had to pull over due to technical problems with the rear of his Yamaha YZR M1. In an interview with G-Pone, Quartararo spoke frankly, saying, "The relationship with the Japanese manufacturers has always been good. But sometimes, progress is too slow. Now, there are many European crews in the garage. Even the Japanese are starting to think like Europeans. If something works, implement it immediately. Don't wait 2 months just to test kilometers." This statement is a strong signal. Quartararo believes in the Yamaha project, but he is not a rider who wants to waste time. He emphasized that if Yamaha cannot produce a competitive bike, he will move on to another project. In short, El Diablo is pressuring Yamaha to act quickly, or risk losing him. On the other hand, Francesco Bagnaia is having a hard time. The 2-time world champion has only won once in the first 7 rounds of the 2025 season, while his main rival, Marc Marquez, has already won 3 times. Bagnaia continues to complain about the different riding sensation of the Desmercedesai GP25 compared to its predecessor. In fact, Marquez made a vague comment saying that the latest Ducati has some strange characters, though he protested less often than Bagnaia. Bagnaia's contract with Ducati does not expire until the end of 2026. However, according to Sky Sport Italia, Yamaha is exploiting this minor rift to recruit Bagnaia. For Yamaha, this is a rare opportunity to make a long-held dream come true, to recruit Pecco, perhaps as early as 2026, they wrote. Imagine, Pecco Bagnaia, the Ducati icon, riding a Yamaha M1. A scenario that once seemed impossible is now being whispered about in the paddock corridors. Ducati still trusts Bagnaia, but the internal pressure continues to grow, especially given Marquez's superior performance in the garage next door. Amidst this chaos, Jorge Martín's name has emerged as a key player. Martin, currently with Aprilia, is said to want to invoke his contract clause to leave a year early, at the end of 2025. Initially, Honda HRC was touted as Martin's main destination. However, if Bagnaia moves to Yamaha, there will be an empty seat at factory Ducati. Martin has long yearned to return to Borgo Panigale, Ducati's headquarters, after being sidelined from the factory seat he had dreamed of. His ambition has grown stronger alongside rumors that Alex Marquez has the potential to move up to the main team, following in the footsteps of his older brother, Marc Marquez, who is currently dominating this season. If that happens, Gresini Racing, Alex's current team, will clearly need a replacement. In this situation, Martin's name has emerged as one of Ducati's main options. However, Martin is not the only candidate being considered. Pedro Acosta is also a rising young talent who has reportedly caught the attention of MotoGP legend Valentino Rossi's VR46 team. Meanwhile, Marc Marquez is expected to be the main focus ahead of the 2025 Aragon MotoGP, which will take place from June 6th to 8th. Competing on home turf in front of thousands of fanatical supporters at the Motorland Aragon circuit, the baby alien exudes confidence. However, behind his confident demeanor, Marquez is actually fairly cautious. He doesn't want to appear unprepared. Yes, Marquez knows he still has a lot of work to do after the race in England. At Silverstone, the 8-time world champion nearly left empty-handed after crashing at the start of the race. Fortunately for Marquez, another incident on the track forced the red flag to be raised, giving him the opportunity to return to the track and earn valuable points. Nevertheless, Marquez was not at all satisfied. He used the experience at Silverstone as an important lesson to ensure that similar mistakes would not be repeated. "I don't want to say it was because of the wheels, the motorbike, or me. We will analyze it first," Marquez said, as quoted in Speedweek. Marquez really wanted to dive deeper, analyzing every detail of the British race data to develop a stronger strategy in Aragon. According to Marquez, one of the biggest lessons from Silverstone was to never rule out any possibility, no matter how small. Initially, he did not expect wind to be an important factor on the British track. However, the windy conditions actually posed a problem for all the racers. "The mistake I made in England was different from the ones in Austin and Jerez," he said. "That's because the track was very windy. I didn't do anything unusual. Maybe it's because I didn't expect the race to be so windy." Now, Marquez has decided to be more careful. He doesn't want to rely solely on his instincts or hope for luck. For him, technical and mental preparation are key to earning consistent points. He doesn't want to repeat the drama from Silverstone, especially at home, where public expectations are much higher. Additionally, Marquez understands that the competition in MotoGP 2025 is fiercer than ever. Big names like Pecco Bagnaia, Jorge Martín, and the impressive rookie Pedro Acosta continue to put pressure on him. Every small mistake can be fatal in the fight for the podium and in the overall standings. The race in Aragon will be a big challenge. But I am confident that through teamwork and learning from each experience, we can emerge stronger, said Marquez. MotoGP fans are looking forward to seeing Marquez take on the sharp corners in Aragon with his signature aggressive style. This time, however, the baby alien promises to be more mature, measured, and prepared. He won't just rely on talent. He'll also use experience and strategies that have been honed. If this big scenario plays out, the 2026 MotoGP transfer market will go down as one of the craziest and most dramatic in modern sports history. Imagine Fabio Quartararo leaving Yamaha after years as their main face or choosing to stay with a big ultimatum that could shake up the team's direction. Meanwhile, Francesco Bagnaia could move to Yamaha as their new superstar, bringing a big name and a world championship title that would definitely change the team's internal dynamics. Additionally, Jorge Martín might return to riding the Ducati des Mercedesi, either with the factory or satellite team, which would add a new layer of tension to the fight for the leading position. These movements will trigger a domino effect involving other giants, such as Honda, Aprilia, and KTM, as well as teams like VR46, who have been dark horses behind the scenes. The MotoGP grid power map will change completely. The title fight, dominated by Ducati especially with Marc Marquez, could heat up further when Yamaha comes with new strength, bringing Pecco and possibly Quartararo if he stays. Meanwhile, Ducati will strengthen its fleet with Jorge Martín, known as one of the fastest and most aggressive talents on the track. One thing is for sure, the 2026 MotoGP will be a fierce battle, both on the track and at the negotiating table. The paddock atmosphere is now boiling. Managers are busy formulating strategies, and star riders are starting to reveal their best cards. The MotoGP world is preparing to enter a new era full of surprises, drama, and epic battles that will be remembered for years to come. Clearly, all the hot dynamics in the MotoGP 2026 transfer market are not just gossip or wild speculation. Behind every contract maneuver, every whisper in the paddock corridor, and every bluff from the top riders are significant stakes that will determine the future of the sport in the coming years. Who do you think will win this big game? Yamaha, Ducati, or another team? Share your thoughts in the comments below.